MEF has been hosting the Stemettes CloudNC for an evening with young women about entrepreneurship. We've had 8 panelists telling their stories about how they got into entrepreneurship to help young women decide whether or not it's the right path.
The calibre and the breadth of people that have come here today are really interesting. We have lots of people with different agendas for come, so some are actually in the making entrepreneurs, some are already on that journey of entrepreneurship. We also have those that are purely just engineers, have just perhaps got their first job, and we also have those that are still in university.
Because there are not that many women in STEM and also not that many women who are entrepreneurs and have their own businesses, we wanted to make sure that young women could see themselves reflected in mainstream.
I thought it was really interesting. I learned a lot about different people's career paths, how they got there, how they started their companies, what their companies do, and the different ways people were applying AI to a variety of different industries.
I think it's important to have a role model because it's someone to look up to, it's something to strive towards if you don't necessarily know what you want to do in life.
Role models are incredibly important. I think there aren't enough of those people, and I think that's why it's been so important today. There were lots of women, I'd never heard their stories, and it was fantastic to be able to hear about so many different kinds of journeys.
Some people don't have their parents necessarily to be their key guiders, and sometimes schools are great, but sometimes schools aren't the place where people want to get advice from. So I think it's really important there is just more and more avenues for people to knowledge share, gain some insights and inspiration. Practical knowledge, which I think we've done a lot of knowledge sharing on that today, and mainly essentially to be inspired.
I like being at these events because I like meeting young people, and especially young women, and learning about what their thoughts are about entrepreneurship, about education. I actually get really motivated.
Yeah, realizing I was an entrepreneur definitely kind of took a lot of time to really accept. Starting off was very messy. It was really about a lot of trial and error, surrounding myself with the right people, getting mentors, coaches, raising investment, getting prototypes, A/B testing, just the works.
We're simply incredibly keen to make sure that more women go into engineering, science, technology and maths, because the simple truth is there's not enough. And part of that problem is people are not seeing, women aren't seeing this as potentially a viable career from them from the school age, which is ridiculous because this is one of the most interesting careers that anybody could pursue.